Good morning. So about 4 days ago, I decided to take out the blue 6.0 for a drive. I had to go to my house and pick up some packages that had got delivered, and we had a little mishap with the rear axle. Now what that means is drivable, but it's not really drivable because it has no gear oil inside the hub because the hub is blown out, and now it needs axles. So originally the front axle has always been broken. Even before I got the truck, it was in a million pieces. So if you guys look down here, there's no yoke on the end of that axle. It's always needed a front axle, but that's the least of our concerns. But now it needs a rear axle because this hub went out. So today I'm going to set aside a couple of hours to diagnose this truck, see exactly what we need, and then possibly go get some new axles as well for it. So we're gonna pull it into the shop if it starts and get it up on stands and see exactly what needs to be done, because this truck needs to get fixed because all it does is sit outside. Let's see if it even starts. I'm surprised it started. It hasn't ran in like a week, 4 days since I broke it. Sounds good. Broken. It's like your truck, Jaden. Yeah. The exhaust just doesn't exhaust, right? That make any sense? The exhaust doesn't exhaust. It's so cold in Indiana, I had to go buy a new pair of bibs, like construction worker bibs. That rear shock is literally busted so bad this shot out of it. Went ahead and got some new axles for the 6.0. Now I think we make you do the job of taking off this rear sway bar. Looks like they're two 13mm bolts. Have an impact socket and the impact, take this off. Be easier to roll it over then, I would say.
Nah, dude, she'll rip right out.
Come right out?
Oh, yeah.
You know how to find a 13, right? We got these fancy sockets I just got on and bought.
Or we just chrome socket it.
Chrome socket? I think our new swivel sockets do the trick a little better. You got add to Jaden's scrap pile now?
Oh, yeah.
I think those sockets work better than a chrome socket.
Golly, dude, where are these things at?
Probably in the mud. And now we gotta get the old parking brake off, the old brake lines off,
Everything on here.
and the old shocks off. These shock mounts are welded to the axle. I think the ones on this are U-bolts, which doesn't matter. I like the weld-on ones a lot better. I took it upon myself to just say, you know what, let's go get 2 new axles, and new as in good axles out of a part-out truck. And now we're going to take all of these stuff off of these factory axles. And then obviously control arms on the front axle. All of these steering will come off it as well because we have our crossover steering on this truck. I will probably take these knuckles, brakes, rotors, all that off of here and put that stuff on here because all that stuff is brand new. And then it'll be basically a rebuilt axle. This one actually has a drive shaft yoke on it. Which means we can put a front drive shaft inside this truck. So I'm going to set aside the rest of November to get all of our trucks with front drive shafts inside it because Jada got that truck about 2 weeks ago and you experienced your first snow inside of it. Why don't you tell him how it was?
Yeah, if I had 4-wheel drive, it'd be a lot better.
Yeah. He literally got stuck inside of his driveway that has no incline and he just spun. You need new back tires too because you gotta stop doing burnouts. Jaden likes to do burnouts. That's probably why the second gen was always broken. Ain't it? So to make life a little bit easier, I forgot that I had these beautiful RYD stands for holding up axles. I used to use these stands like every single day when I did fabrication full time, and I forgot I had them. So we use them on these axles. It saves a lot of time. You're not laying on the ground working on axles, but right now Colin is working on getting the front of the 6.0 up in the air with the frame stands. We need to lift that truck that big. Imagine the truck 8 inches taller. Front's on stands. We're getting ready to take off the TIS wheels and start disassembling this truck. We are going to be taking the knuckles and all the hubs and brakes off of this axle because that stuff's all brand new. And obviously, as you guys can tell, the rotors on this thing are not the prettiest. And the knuckles on that has our steering kit on it. So the knuckles are already drilled out versus these ones are factory knuckles. So we'll save these factory knuckles, take these hubs and stuff off, throw them in the garbage. Obviously, steering bar, trash. They decided to cut the drag link, so that's not reusable unless we weld a bar to it. Imagine welding a drag link, a factory one. I've seen it done. Slide a piece of tubing over it and then just connect it to the tie rod. Get all these axles stripped down, get this front axle out of the truck. I will always say, rough country, your guys' Vertex shocks are literally insane. So let's get the tires off the truck and start getting the front axle out of it. So I figured right now would be the perfect time to talk about today's video sponsor, which is Lasfit. Now, if you guys didn't know, I've been working with Lasfit for a very long time now. They have everything from bed liners to floor mats to interior and exterior belts for your vehicle, along with air compressors. Now, if you guys didn't know, I have a 2005 6.0 Powerstroke with the King Ranch interior, and these factory floor mats that I have just are not cutting it anymore. As you guys can see, they wear out very, very easily because Ford decided to put a carpet mat over a carpet floor and expect this thing to save your carpet. But Good thing we have a brand new set of Lasfit floor mats for this truck we will be installing today. Starting off with the driver's side floor mat, this comes with a clip that is from the factory on the floors of these to lock this floor mat into place. Very simple to install. Take the floor mat, push it underneath your pedals, then it locks down into the factory locking point on the floor. Now, same thing on the passenger side. Take the nasty factory floor mat out of your truck. You might as well just throw it right into the garbage because it's absolutely not needed. Take the beautiful Lasfit mat, slide this down inside there. Has a very, very good fitment. And look at that. We now have the front floor liners installed, and let's get the rear ones in it. Come to the back of the truck. We're going to take the 2 floor mats out of the back, throw those in the garbage, and we will be installing the Lasfit floor mat, which actually covers the whole back seat and all of the carpet, not just 2 little squares. And just like that, our Lasfit floor mats are installed into the 6.0. So we have the driver's side one. As I said, it has a clip that clips into the factory location to hold the mat in place. Passenger side one is installed, and the rear floor mat is installed as well. Now, these products fit very, very well. They also have the bed liners I was telling you guys about in the beginning of the video, along with headlights, interior lights, and air compressors. Now, if you guys are interested in any of these awesome products, click the link down in the description below. Use my code at checkout. Save you guys some money and enjoy the rest of the video. What are you doing, kid? Besides breaking your mirror.
Take the dealio out, but it ain't coming out.
Do you need me to do it, the expert Ford mechanic now?
Huh. Listen to you.
I feel like I've been dealing with more Fords in the last 2 months than I've been dealing with anything else. Oh, you got it out.
Who taught you how to
Congratulations.
do that? I did.
Actually, I have some LEDs you can install inside of it. Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
So as you guys are seeing, we got the factory axles all cleaned up, and we will be installing into the Ford. We also went ahead and took the coil buckets off of it because these trucks are very notorious for the coil buckets going bad. And by going bad, I mean the top where the coil spring sits likes to rust out. So we took the coil buckets off, which gave us the perfect time to clean up the whole entire frame rail and paint it very nicely. So the new coil buckets will be here at some point today. We're going to install those on the truck. We might convert the front of this truck to coilovers because right now it is on a coil spring front end lift. But Rough Country has a beautiful set of Vertex shocks I actually have here at the shop for a long time that we might install on this truck. I have to decide still if that's the route we want to go. But we need to get the axles back underneath this truck now, start getting the rear axle all bolted in. And then once the rear axle is bolted in, hopefully the coil buckets are here in time. I need to make a decision if we're going to install these Vertex shocks that I have sitting right here for this truck. So we went ahead and re-threaded the holes that the factory perch sits on. That way the threads are nice and clean. We're gonna get some new bolts for it. I think we are going to install the coilovers on this truck because it'll look a lot better and the ride quality will improve by like 10 times. So right now we're going to grab the front axle somehow and figure out how we can push underneath the truck. That's gonna be the fun part. Oh, not too bad actually. Now we need to get the control arms off the ground, put them back on the truck, wipe them down because they are dirty, and then get this axle set on the ground, put onto jack stands. That way we can remove all of the old rotors, knuckles, hubs, lockers, because we have all brand new stuff over there, new hubs, new lockers, new ball joints inside the knuckles off of the truck. Now obviously with our steering kit, you have to have your knuckles drilled out and sleeved to 3/4 because the factory knuckles have a tapered ball joint end. And then when I build the steering kits for them, it is a through 3/4 bolt that holds on the steering. And the steering actually improves the driving of this truck a lot better because the factory ball joints on the Fords aren't the greatest. So let's get the control arms back on it, set the axle on the ground, get it set up on some jack stands, and start getting the knuckles all swapped out because we need to get this thing back on the ground. I want to see how it works with 4-wheel drive because it hasn't had 4-wheel drive, Colin.
3 years.
In 3 years, and it's about to start snowing here this weekend, and we need to go drifting in the snow because 6.0s sound very good off limiter. Hits versus 20 hits with the other sledgehammer.
I don't think that one's coming off.
No, you got lucky. That thing's like blown out. Let me see the end of it. Yeah, that'll ride. Just weld the bar to it, and then you'll be good.
Extended.
Just scrap the crossover that we built for it. Yeah, that's seen better days. This is a grease zerk on it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll just grease it up.
Grease it up and put it back on. It's not a bad tie rod there.
No. I think I get $100 on Marketplace.
Yeah. If you guys need any Ford parts, let us know. We have a bad axle. I mean, that axle's good if we just put new hub bearings on it, but why replace 2 bearings? We can just buy 2 new axles.
Right.
It makes more sense. Let's buy axles instead of buying a
Hey, it's got powder coat.
$20 part. Yeah, it does have powder coat. That matches the 6.0. We now have a massive pile of parts off the 6.0. We got the knuckles off the new axle. We're getting ready to clean it all out, get new axle shaft seals for it, and then we'll be installing all of these parts. But really quick, we're going to take the rear axle, slide underneath the truck. That way that is out of the way. And then we should be able to get the whole entire rear axle all installed. We already have all new shocks back there, new brakes and stuff for it. So we'll be installing that really quick. And then the truck needs a new exhaust as well. So maybe we just shoot it out of the hood. That's a very good idea. What do you guys think? Do we just take a drill bit and drill out the hood? Oh, look at spray paint cap. That's our hood stack. Should we hood stack this truck? My big second gen was hood stacked and it was cool, but at the same time, it was so annoying. The cab was always 1,000 degrees and smelled like soot. But I think maybe a hood stack 6.0 with a massive exhaust tip would look pretty sick. What do you say? Yes, polished exhaust tip to match the polished antenna. Yes. So now clean up the axle and then put new seals inside of it and reinstall everything. And then we gotta get this off here as well, so we can put our track bar on it because someone decided to take a torch and cut the old track bar off this axle. We got the rear axle into the truck. We put our rotors and calipers off the old axle onto it. U-bolts are in, blocks are in. The rear shock is on that side. We got all of the brake lines hooked up. Also went ahead and cleaned the exhaust tip because the exhaust tip was filthy. Now for the front of the truck, we got the whole new axle inside of it. Obviously the coil buckets still haven't came in yet and the springs are out of them. But we have the coilovers for the front that we are probably gonna end up putting on this truck. So right here, Rough Country sends out a bracket for the top of the coil bucket that bolts in and holds the top of your shock. The bottom is bolted in with this little bracket. So from the factory, you have this perch that bolts to your axle that your coil spring sits in. Now we'll have this perch onto the axle that will sit right here. Obviously there's a new bolt that slides into it, holds the bottom of the coilover. The coilovers that we have for this thing is absolutely massive. So it's like a 5-inch spring diameter with a very long travel shock, nice adjustable reservoir to match the front shocks. So the front shocks and the coilovers will both have the adjuster on top of them. Here are our front shocks to the outside of the spring. But we are getting the front tie rod on it, drag link. Once the coil buckets come in, we will bolt those on, get the coilovers hung off of it, and then we'll be able to put the track bar bracket back onto the frame because in order for us to get the coil buckets off the frame, we have to take the track bar drop off and slide it out of the way. That way we can get all the rivets out. So now, being that the coil buckets are riveted on from the factory, we'll have to bolt them on with like a 1/2 inch or a 5/8 bolt. And then, yes, it won't have a rusty coil bucket anymore.
See a lot of metal in there.
A lot of metal shavings?
Yeah.
Why don't you just grab the corner of it and just rip it off so we can actually see the fluid?
Oh, that's all the fluid.
Oh, well, good thing we checked it. Because if I didn't say put the new diff cover on it now, it would have been ran like that. So we're pulling off the diff covers of this truck for number 1, to check all the fluid, make sure everything looks good inside there. Number 2, we have a new polished diff cover for the front of the truck. And then the rear actually is the new style diff cover that we will probably just powder coat and or get chrome plated to match the front one. So the rear is like the 08 and up style, and then the front obviously is just a regular stock steel diff cover. So we're draining the fluid on the axles right now. We're going to get all brand new fluid, all new gaskets, all new everything, diff covers, you name it. Then once we get all the diff covers back on it, hopefully by that time we will have the front coil buckets for the truck, be able to do all of that stuff, get the front end of the truck all back together, get all the tires back on it, drive it for the first time with the new axles. But we have a lot of work going down to this Ford. I have a lot of stuff I am planning right now for next month with this Ford because I want this thing to do nasty burnouts. I'm just trying to do it the smart way and buy everything at once in order for that truck to do the burnouts, because I will slap injectors and a tune on this thing and blow it up. I'm not trying to blow it up. It would be cool for content just to completely annihilate this motor, but that's probably not ideal because I want to be able to make a lot of content with this truck. Like I said before, having street tires, you can just do burnouts whenever you want. Like when it rains, actually no, when it rains you can't even drive this truck or inside the snow. But we have been flip-flopping these 26s in the streets for the stock wheels when it gets snowy outside, because obviously this truck has four-wheel drive and we're working out all the other trucks throughout the winter, because I'd rather drive this through the snow, being that it has a little bit of rust, versus driving one of the other trucks in the snow, because all the other trucks are rust-free. I usually don't buy rusty vehicles, but for the price I paid for this truck, I literally could not pass it up. So with that being said, though, if you guys are interested inside of any of Lasfit's products, click the link down in the description below. Use my code at checkout. If you're interested inside of any of the rough country coilovers for a 6.0, I will put the link inside the description as well for that. But with that being said, that is going to end today's video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.